digest the further sessions. So I'll take in the positive way. You have a lot of energy to digest, and in fact, we as a part of learner, I am also learner as a part of you itself. So this is a small subject is big, but my presentation may be the small one. Topic. Topic which has given to me as a verification of SME and large account, and including non-fund facility and early warning signal. In this, some portion is related to verification of advance, which all auditors, 90% is all aware how things need to be done and what need to be done. In my presentations, things is covered in the PPT, so no need to be write. I'll share the PPT itself. So some of the portion I have mentioned in the PPT, but sake of maybe the repetitions, I maybe skip those points. Whenever the people are on, they can refer that. First is I'm just overviewing my agenda. This is overall of my sessions. Understanding of audit, not needed, that has been covered. My first better itself, Ankush. And second, SME accounts, large accounts, non-fund facilities, and early warning signals. I'll maybe giving a more attentions of some point which is I feel is a more relevant or more required. And any of need any more discussion of any of the points, then we can take that also. This no needed. This is there in one of my slides. So only point is that as a concurrent auditors, we will be as a real-time auditor. Here, concurrent auditor is the person who can prevent the fraud, who can guide to the management on the very early stage. So role is very, very important, and we need to be dischargeable liability in very cautious. In reality, this has happened or not, this is between up to us, how we discharge our liabilities. But once we take as a responsibility as a concurrent auditors, we should aware ki how much the responsibility we have as a concurrent auditors. In any fraud finding, any regulator first catch the concurrent auditor who verify the transactions. So we need to understand our responsibility, how much regulator has enforced to us. Now come to the point of classifications of SME, which has been changed from 1st April 25. Before that, there is a different monetary limit. Monetary limit is basically in respect of investment and turnover, and consider both the in some cases. So here definition saying ki investment not exceeding or turnover not exceeding the limit mentioned. So falling in which is the limit, micro, small, limit is mentioned. And this limit is changed from the 1st April 25, which also I have mentioned in the presentations. Now, there is a, in market, there is a lot of fraud is there in a market to get the Uddham registrations. If you just see the Google, you find some click, they will assess, they will assist you to get the Uddham registration. They may be some agency, they take you, they will charge some money, but as far as the government size is concerned, they have not charged anything, they have not prescribed any fees. So this is a free of cost as per the government is concerned. But there are various agencies. If you just see on Google, you find lot of the link. Immediately we assess that. So there are a lot of these things. Now, as a concurrent auditors, we need to understand what is the process to get the Uddam registrations and how to verify that Uddam registration, whether this is correct or not. There is a Uddam registration site where you can verify the registrations. If you want to verify the registrations, you can verify the registrations. And this is a link to the Aadhaar. And once you registered, then it will link to your PAN and GST. Every year, your turnover is to be take from GSTN and this record. So your Uddham record will automatically update. Now, there is one question has come when loan is taken, and loan is taken at the time of that maybe is category 1, like micro, or maybe that you take the small one. Now, in the second year, third year, if it is become the medium, or maybe their investment and turnover is exceed both the limit, what can we do on that? The question is to all, what we should to take the stand as an auditor. So maybe you rightly say, sir, but in part of some checklist, I have made some checklist also, where we do some activities, like some activity we do as a monthly basis, some activity we have to do daily basis, some weekly basis, on some maybe the quarterly basis. We have to make a value additions to the client which we are providing. So maybe in one activity you can mention we have to verify all the Uddham registrations. So that way you have given the value addition. Second, you have any query in Uddham registrations or in respect of classifications, formats, or maybe that? So assuming no, this is a very crucial in priority sector lending. Compliances where every bank and we are having some target of to maintain certain ratio, which if they don't maintain, then they have charged some penalty, or maybe they have to buy certificate for that to meet these requirements. Now, if there is a misqualifications, because as an auditor, we have to give the certificate also. Maybe not a concurrent auditor, but as a statutory auditors, also we have to give the where PSL compliance has been done or not. So this is one of the major common compliance which need to be monitored and taken seriously by the regulators. Now, this is credit facility in respect of working capitals or term loan. So here we are talking about in the prospect of as a concurrent auditors, how things we will need to check. I'm just taking as a my view or my presentations in the view of as a concurrent auditors. What are the things we need to verify? Most of things you might be aware, but when we checking, if we have taking a proper checklist, then chances of lapsing, chances of forgetting or maybe lefting is maybe minimized. One of the major issue in calculation of drawing power. In drawing power, there is a subcategory of issue in respect of debtors aging, stock statements, whether this is stock statement, take it, even though it's take it, whether it's updated in the system or not. Unless it's updated in system, correct DP will not be calculated. Now, aging is also important. Now, book debts, whether it's a paid creditors is there or it's a unpaid creditors. So those things is very important. So we need to verify those aspects, how control are set in the bank, and we have to monitor that part. In respect of term loan, we have to be basically in all kind of credit facility. Our job as a concurrent auditors, I believe we need to see what are the term conditions they are sanctioning that and whether that has been complied or not. Now, if term loan is based on the against some invoices, maybe if you term loan for the some machinery, whether respective invoice bills are there or not, and one of the major issue of end use of fund, whether end use of fund is done, whether site verification is done, whether utilization certificate properly obtained. If this is done, then half the problem of any business will be reduced. What are the risks in bank? First risk is to be in respect of revenue, whether properly revenue is received or not. Second is whether this has been secure or not. If the money is used for the particular purpose, then the chances of MPA also be reduced. If the fund used for the purpose which they have sanctioned, then chances of recovery is very high. Now, third is now if I say the issue or gray area is the non-fund facility. Before that, there is a in SME there is a special point which now all the bank is now may do the classifications is based on the overdue, whether this is 0 to 1 to 30 is a SME 1 0, 31 to 60 SME 1, and SME 2 91 to 90. So this is the stage before the MPA. Any account is characterized as a MPA. This is the bifurcations. Now bank is now focusing on these bifurcations, and accordingly their monitoring and follow-up is done based on that. There is another is the one-time restructuring. After COVID, this MPA classifications, some relaxation is there, whether those circular has been properly complied by the bank, whether respective applications and bifurcation is properly meet or documentation has been done. That also part of as a responsibility to check it. Now there is a common, as I told you, what is the common fraud and red flags in SME? Not on SME, these are the fraud is there in all the loans. But as a topic, I have said the SME, and maybe there are. So I mentioned, but it's there in all the loans. What are the common fraud? Multiple financing in for one facility or one assets, we take in a multiple finance. That is the things which we need to see. And inflated stock. Now in Companies Act, there is a CARO requirement where mention the auditor need to mention whether their accounts stock items submit to the bank is properly matched or not. And round tripping, whether fund is cycled through the related party, and whether fund diversion, whether funds is used for the working capital, whether they have used for the long-term use capex, or if it is diverted to the personal use. As I told you beginning, in between also, if we monitoring or bank is monitoring that fund is used for the purpose for which they have given, then half the problem will be solved. If fund is not diverted, then the risk is minimized. Now another is sale company, where the fictitious buyer, supplier, and whether Udyam registration is obtained frequently and classification manipulated. Now in current scenario, documents, PDF documents or maybe the GPG documents is very easy to manipulate or very easy to make a edit of that. So we should understand how need to verify that. So just reading of face, we can't say this is the correct or not. So validations has to be done the proper channel. So that's why I'm saying ki validation of Udyam Aadhar need to be done. Process, what the process bank is follow, that need to be comment on that. If it is a lacuna or maybe the chances of manipulations, we have to be comment on that. Now come to the maybe I may be fast, but why I am saying this section is fast, because these are the area where all the auditors know. So I am saying some pointer only. If any point you feel I need to stretch, you can tell me. So based on the RBI guidelines, based and the respective bank capital, and based on their policy, large account need to verify. In that, as a concurrent auditors, we need to verify certain things very important. What basis is the CMA data, which they have prepared at the time of sanctions. Now that need to compare with the actual performance and annual. So that is a crux. This verification has to be done. Now whether this taken by the bank as a actual basis or maybe the as required on the paper, that we need to, as a concurrent auditor, we need to see properly. There are certain ratio which is standard there, which need to be given the indications of the structures. Structures means how they have like equity and debt, what the current liabilities, working capital, those things, what are the debt coverage ratio, those things. This needs to be seen, and any deviations of these ratios need to be escalated and maybe documented. As I've seen various things in various case laws, I have seen that the CA is a very soft target to any regulator. Maybe they feel that ये बंदा कहीं नहीं जाएगा. So risk is increased day by day as far as the auditor is concerned. And this risk is increased due to the AI also. Now, to use of AI, our role also be, our work may be the minimized in certain aspect, but a certain area, the risk is also involved, because this is not that we are only learning AI. Others also learn the AI, how things can be manipulated, which we need to understand. We need to analyze that part also. एक second. So my personal advice, all we should learn AI also. In fact, we should learn FAFD also, course certification course, where you get the things how you will verify this is the documents can be genuine or not, and what are the way this can be done. Now, in respect of custodian and multiple banking, as a concurrent auditors, we need to verify the agreement, information between the members, how they have communicate to each others, and whether this is regularly meeting is done, documented, and any finding or any discussions which giving the impact of arrangement need to be documented. Whether correct reporting is done or not, mandatory they have to do the reporting. And if any divergence in MP and SME classifications, here meaning is that I am defining as a 0 to 1 SME 1. Others party is defining, other classification is different. So if there is difference between the classification to each of the, then we need to analyze properly, and they giving a signal. This is maybe they give it some flag. There is some issue which we need to see. Now, as far as that credit monitoring is concerned, as I mentioned, there are certain activities we need to do quarterly, where quarterly MIS format, limit, need on time or not, whether stock limit is review every year or not, whether insurance has been taken, adequate insurance has been taken or not, whether audited financials has been received in time, whether this has been reviewed and documented. It's not just for that record they have taken in the record. They have to review and document it and make an observation on that. So that is the last part is very, very important. Now some of the bank is now taking a help of concurrent auditor also, or maybe the external agency also, or maybe the external agency is like CA only. They're taking a review purpose. They're taking a, you review the accounts and give the report. And collateral revaluations. For every standard account, every 3 years, and for MPA, annually or maybe based on their internal policy. Now, related party exposures and stress assets. RBI and regulators are believe key transitions related to the related parties always in the red radar. They have some chances whether they taking some benefit when they dealing between the related party. So there are strict norms. There are certain disclosures which required to be disclosed or we have to verify. These are the definitions of their related party, and we need to see the definitions which they are in uh, their annual account, the party's annual accounts. What are the list of related party, whether what list is mentioned at the time of sanctions, what are any changes of that, any transactions related to the related party, which we need to be see, and we need to be focus on where those accounts where the related party exposure is high. Some of the industries, related party transactions may be the chain of product life cycle. Maybe if I have any product have a 5 cycle, four cycle is done by the related party, and 5th cycle is supplied to the ultimate customers. Doesn't mean there is a chance of fraud, but maybe 4 cycle may be related because to smooth the process. So we need to be precautions need to be mentioned whether there any challenging in that. Now, as I come to the non-fund activity, up to that any discussion is required at any point? So, this is the area where more, if you say gray area, that also not wrong. There are some challenges in this area in very early stage, in maybe the PNB side time. After that, there are a lot of initiate or precaution is taken by the regulator as well as the auditor also, because these amount are not earlier directly reflected in on the balance sheet. These are the off balance sheet item. Some of the things are not interlinked with the CBS. There are chances of mismatch between the what they are in the record, maybe yes, and chances of fraud or maybe the collusion between the parties, maybe the this may be the more in that. Wherever those chances is there, then we have to be increase our checklist, need to increase our eyes to check on those area. LC is basically giving the facility to the buyer to get the money in agreed time. This is a arrangement between the buyer and seller and involve the bank. As far as the auditor is concerned, these are the, as far as the example is concerned, this is a non-fund facility. Bank guarantee is required mainly in to perform the tender requirements. Major use of that bank guarantee, co-acceptance of bills, LOC on LOE. Now, as far as that concurrent auditor is concerned, what we need to be take care and what's carefulness we need to see, whether with these transactions is real or it's doing manipulation of any transactions, or it's create a fictitious transaction to involve these things. You must be aware when LC is devolved or BG is devolved, then off balance sheet liabilities is become the your fund based liabilities. Whether once that is done, then all the facility has to be treated accordingly. We need to see whether bank having a facility to record it through the CVS or not, whether this has been reconciled in proper manner. whether shift system is integrated to the CVS. I think so most of are aware what's happened in the PNB. These are the laps because that's not a PNB time mein what's happened. Shift is not integrated to the CVS. There is some unauthorized or fake under LC is issued. Those things is there, where the control are not there. So we need to be see. Now currently there are more rigid control are mentioned or maintained by the each of the bank. The chances are minimized, but the gray area is there, which we need to be maintain or which need to carefully see. Now, as far as the verification is concerned, what the point is related to the letter of credit at the time opening, what are the things need to be verified, I have mentioned, like sanction limit, whether required margin has been taken out for particular facility, whether this is a genuine trade, import or mistake, whether required document which is required for that particular transaction has been taken on record or not, or at the time of retirement or devolutions, what are the document is required, and what are the red flags. As a auditors, we need to see that what are the red flag in any of transactions. In my days also I have seen wherever the problem we will point out that. So where this red flag, to catch the red flag, that will come when you verify or regularly see the transactions. One of the point I mentioned, when the transaction is related to the related party, this is another red flag. Rapid rotation of the excessive use, that also red flags. So these are the red flags which we need to see. Now as far as the bank guarantee is concerned, at the time of issue, similar kind of documents, little bit change in respect of issuance use. As I told you beginning, that LC have a different purpose. LC is used for the trade purpose, and bank guarantee normally used to give the guarantee to some work. Bank guarantee mainly used for the tendering of any work. So the respective BG is approved by the standard format or not, whether required document is there in the bank, because without any purpose the bank guarantee will not issue, and we need to see BG register, whether this has been expiry date has been monitoring or not, and invocation of the received जो भी liabilities है उसको crystallize किया है कि नहीं किया, उसको classification किया है कि नहीं किया, and whether any deferred payment is guarantee is there, then those has been properly seen or not. Now this is the safeguard is taken by the RBI after the PNB scan. As I already mentioned, these are the things ki major shift and CVS integrations they have done. LOE and LOC is, in my knowledge, is completely banned, but if you have any format they are using, so that I am currently not aware. Now in banking transactions, wherever the possible or wherever the practically possible, in my things I have seen now maker checker concept is there in everywhere. In fact, today I was there in morning in one bank for my some personal work. There is a one KYC document, e-KYC, and they taking all the forms. Just for the e-KYC, he send it she sent me to another counter and e-KYC done by another officer and document is taken by another officer. My wife is just saying, why this is happening just for the thing, they can take it that. इनका ऐसा नहीं है. So things is there that way then कि लोगों को लगता है कि भाई ये why this such a duplication things or they one person who doing whole transaction can done in that things, but the maker checker is there. So that's very important. Segregation of duty wherever the one person should not involve to in whole transactions. That is a key aspect. And as far as that safeguard is concerned, the bank should maintain centralized data, even though any branch is issued. But now most of the bank is now busy issue separate department who centrally monitor, even though branch initiate, but the issuance is to be centrally doing. Now this is the EVS, which is I believe is more important aspect as a auditor. What are the EVS is there in transactions? What are the framework where the regulator and bank has taken that initiate is very important. Now, when we review the transactions, when we auditing, certain observations we seen, whether that is EVS is early warning signals to us or to bank, or maybe to the customer, give you the indications there is a problem. Now this has been bifurcated in financial signal and bank financial signal. I have bifurcated in the financial signal कि there is a continuously sales down, operating profit this line हो रहा है, creditors का period बढ़ रहा है, debtors का turnover reduce बढ़ रहा है, negative cash flow है operation से, normal profit है but after that but there is a negative cash flow, and there is certainly increase unsecured loan, and there is a qualifications in audit reports. In fact, there is a frequent change in auditors, also we red flag. Why this has happened? Because if normal things has happened, then it's fine, but without expiry, early resignations need to be seen properly. And as far as that banking operation signal is concerned, these are the operation signal is mentioned. I am sharing the whole PPT, so there is no need to write anything. These are the operation banking signal is there, which I have listed out it here. Based on my experience, I mentioned here. There are certain non-financial and external EVS also, which is behavior signals and external signal. अगर स्टेक होल्डर और प्लेस अपनी इक्विटी को शेयर करके मार्केट से पैसा उठा रहा है, मैनेजमेंट का रेजिग्नेशंस है, रेट पड़ रही है रेगुलेटर्स की, इनकम टैक्स की, सीवीडी की, मीडिया में कोई नेगेटिव न्यूज़ आ रही है, एवरी न्यूज़ इज़ नॉट करेक्ट, दैट्स फाइन, बट वी नीड टू गिविंग अस दैट्स द राइट सिग्नल्स. स्टॉक ऑडिट नहीं करा रहा है, स्टॉक ऑडिट में नेगेटिव पार्ट है, दोज आर द बिहेवियर सिग्नल्स. and external signals which is not maybe the not in the control of that, neither of the bank and neither of the borrower. कोई सेक्टर ये स्ट्रेस में है, सो दोस कोई कस्टमर मेजर कॉन्टैक्ट उसका ख़त्म हो गया है, या दूसरा कंपटीटर के खड़ा हो गया है, या कोई लाइसेंस जो है कोई गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम जो है जिस सेक्टर्स में है, अगर उसका लाइसेंस ही गवर्नमेंट ने दे चेंज द सम regulatory aspect, maybe the term conditions, that is the issue. So those are the external signals. Now, how to we deal with these red flag accounts? We need to verify those properly in line of the what the red signal we received, and if it is a consider in your early stage it's some fraud is there, then you may be advised to the bank, do the forensic, and certain things the reporting requirement is to be you as an auditor also to report to RBI also. There are some metrics which we need to follow. I mentioned in my presentation that now there is a concept of willful defaulter also. You must be aware that at the time of opening the any bank account, bank, now this also be done by the bank as a centrally. KYC compliance is now handled by the most of the bank now centrally. In fact, one should do the give the documents, account opening forms. Their central team will analyze, do the analysis. They have to check whether this person not belong to the any to terrorist list of RBI. These are the whether this is not there in defaulter list. So these are the verification is there, and those which we need to see what are the process they have to follow. Now, as I mentioned, there are certain checklists which we need to see as a daily, weekly, monthly and quarterly and annual. I have divided in a based on my experience in banking कि आपको डेली क्या वेरीफाई करना है, मंथली क्या वेरीफाई करना है, क्वार्टरली क्या वेरीफाई करना है. एंड दिस इज नॉट द दिस इज द इलस्ट्रेटिव लिस्ट ओनली based on your experience, based on the particular branch, or based on the things which you observed in particular branch. You need to be prepare your checklist. What are the things you have to do on daily basis, what is the monthly basis and quarterly basis. Now, as I mentioned, there should be the escalation matrix which we need to see in our mind. What are the things you to report to whom? And as I mentioned, classification of SME is very important. PSLA misqualification, DP errors, off balance sheet, non-fund facilities, wherever the margin is not taken, whether it's done beyond the sanction, things need to be escalated. And based on my experience, I have mentioned escalation matrix. What are the escalations you have to be use it? You can follow that. And apart from that, if having any query, or you can say any takeaway, I can take it. If any query, I'm happy to answer that. Yes, please. So this is a this, yeah, please. I got, sir. I got it. Got it. There are two aspects on that. Now, every bank is follow RCM, risk control. IFCO FR they have to follow. They have prepared the RCM. Now, what and based on their internal policy, they have prepared the SOPs. First, whether in the SOP, what are the frequency of the reconciliation of nostro, those things. That is the one part. Whether they have done that, followed that periodicity to reconciliations. Secondly, but definitely it should not be 1 month, 2 month. It can be within a week. It could be fine, but such difference has to be highlighted, and it's a revenue leakage point which has to be done. That's right. There's a good you observe that, and it's a good that. Okay. Good. Good. Any more highlighted things? I will share my PPT to the organization. They will send, maybe the some group is there, so they will send it across to all participation. Uh, you can देखो you can जैसे sir, what's your name, sir? दिलीप शाह. दिलीप जी ने वो अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया, बिकॉज बेस्ड ऑन दैट इफ वी शेयरिंग सम एक्सपीरियंस टू ईच ऑफ देम, इट गिविंग अ insight or giving a things which the area where we should take care of that is also important. शेयरिंग करने से नॉलेज हमेशा बढ़ती है, घटती बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. दैट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. And I have learned these things to many of the peoples. In fact, I have learned for everybody कि sharing is the ultimate things which will get that. If anybody want to share any experience of in their field, any finding, they can happy to share. True, very true, sir. Very true, sir. Very true. uh, Very true, sir. Very true, sir. So concept of so if I say the takeaway of this presentations is Concurrent is a sometimes act as a prevention control mechanism, because is a real time audit or near to real time audit. bifurcations, verification of SME is the another aspect which we need to see. How this has to be verified to the Udyam Aadhaar site, which we need to see. And another important aspect of priority sector lending. That is a requirement of the regulator which need to be maintained by the bank. Verification of working capital, how to calculate the drawing power, only the paid stock, how this, whether any inflated stock are there in that, any non-moving stock was mentioned in the stock. And respect of, in bank, there is a concept of SME 0, SME 01 and SMA 2. That's the area where the monitoring by the bank, whether proper IRIC norm is followed in respect of classifications and respect of MPA also. In respect of large account, review of CMA data. I just summarized what I have covered in all my presentations. In respect of large account, verification of CMA data, certain ratio which need to be monitored. In custodian and multiple banking, agreement, meetings, reporting. In respect of non-fund facilities, area of concern and respective checklists as mentioned. And how EVS is dealt by the bank, how early signals which we need to see and make a analysis based on that and do the audit or verifications of whole transactions wherever this EVS signal is there is need to understand, and responsibility as a make the scheduler, like what things need to be done on daily, weekly, quarterly and annually. It's important. And what the reporting metrics which we should follow on this. So as sum of that, I maybe take the less time which I allotted. Maybe because this is maybe happened because you are not asking any questions. I maybe run through my presentations and speaking. So this is a one-side presentation that may be taking less time. So I'm again invite any other want to any view on that. Happy to discuss on that. Acha, let me know whoever done this Concurrent Audit certification course. I think so all have done. Na? There is certification course of Concurrent Auditors. Have you done that? Can you just hand whoever done that certification course? Only one. It's a surprising fact I just come to know, because based on my this thing, that is a compulsory to get that Concurrent Audit. So my first advice has to be that certification course has to be done, because that's giving a weightage to your engage to the bank. There is certain mandatory requirement. I need to check that was the current things, but it's when I've done this certification for 10 years back, that was the mandatory. So I believe that's currently also mandatory. And after doing, frankly, after doing that certification course, I afraid to take the concurrent audit. So much things things need to be done, and lot of the responsibilities rightly pointed to us, sir, that first is the maker checker as a for the bank is concerned, but nevertheless, because we are doing most of the time as a concurrent auditor verification of all the transactions, or maybe the major sample of the transactions. Process lapse has to be monitored or maybe pointed out by the us, because unless you point out, we cannot make a safeguards. In current scenario, if I just because I just checked that there is a topic taken by that how in CVS environment you have to do the concurrent audit. So most important aspect in this that you have to create a digital footprint. You have to create a digital footprint that you have done your duty in well planned manner. That's very important. And believe me, digital footprint is our safeguard in any regulators. How you have done your working papers well, how you discharge your liabilities, that is your अस्त कि भाई मैंने काम ऐसे किया है. In fact, those documentations is giving a guiding factors to our subordinate. In fact, when your team is doing, if they preparing a proper justification, how they have taken a sample, how they have checked the transactions, then that on the basis of that, you able to see in short below supervision can done a very faster way. So thanks to all, and thanks to WIC to give me this opportunity to share my knowledge with you. Thank you.